I
Yeah.
want to circle back to when, we were in the COVID time. You have all these people that work for you.
Hmm.
Was there accidents were way low.
Hmm.
Talk about was that a stressful time for you as a business owner? Because you mentioned all these family members who work for
Yeah.
you, and you're like, what? Cases are not coming in at the same level. I mean, unless you're doing PIP, and are we doing PI as well, or even
We were
PIP?
doing
Both.
both. We were doing both. Yeah. And so you bring up a good point. We actually pivoted to also take on homeowner insurance claims.
Okay.
So we started a homeowner insurance division, which we've since shut down. They got rid of attorney fees for
Yeah, that was
homeowner cases,
horrible.
which was the biggest insurance company bailout I've ever seen. It's like, let's say somebody comes to me, they have hurricane damage. They're not coming to me because their insurance company was like, hey, you got a hole in your house. Here's money for your roof.
I'm
They're
gonna help
coming to me
you on.
because the insurance company's not paying them
Yeah,
enough to fix their
yeah,
roof,
yeah.
let alone like the water damage stuff inside the home. So now I got to tell them, hey, listen, before I would tell them, look, I'll get you the money you owed, close to it, and I'll get attorney fees, and they're separate, but then
Yeah.
when they passed the law to take attorney fees, hey man, it's going to cost you 40 grand to fix your roof, and I'm going to keep a third of it. How does that make you feel? And they're
Yeah.
like, well, that makes me feel really bad. And I'm like, well, it makes me feel bad too. And so I said, I don't want to do this anymore because it just, it's bad enough dealing with somebody that has a hole in their roof. But now whatever I do get them, I got to keep a piece of it because
Yeah.
the insurance company doesn't have to pay attorney fees like they've done for hundreds of years. So we got out of homeowners, but we pivoted to start doing homeowners. It was actually, I'm going to tell you, dude, I read a book by Grant Cardone called The 10X Rule. At
Mhm.
that time, I started going
Yeah.
for walks. I was like, if I go for a walk, I'll be healthy because I was kind of fat back then. I started going for walks. I said, I'll be healthy and I'll listen to an audiobook, Grant Cardone, 10X Rule. And I was like, dude, this guy is a genius. Like, this is the most, I got all his books. I listened to every one of his books. I became a huge fan of the guy. He's a little bit controversial, the guy, whatever, but
Yeah.
his concepts on running a business were incredible. Then I read a book called Measure What Matters. That book, the guy reading it on Audible sucks. He sounds like you want to just blow your brains out. But the content in that book about KPIs, key performance indicators, blew my mind. We went from with Pip Suits department filing like 1 month we do 50 lawsuits. The next month we do 500. The next month we do 200. And after reading this Measure What Matters and then the 10X Rule book at the same time, I said, hey, we need to do 500 lawsuits a month. Let's just see
Yeah.
how it goes. And I talked to the departments and I was like, can we do it? And Brittany, who's on my team for more than 10 years, she's one of those pillars that I was talking about. Fantastic person, just works hard. She's like, yeah, I think I could do it. So we started hitting 500 a month. And then after that, I said, could we do 1,000 for like after 2 months? Then I said, could we do 2,000? Dude, I made more money reading those two books that it cost me maybe 10, 15 bucks a book. I made so much money with those concepts. I mean, you're talking about millions of dollars of information from those two
Yeah.
books. And I during the pandemic, I was freaked out, dude. I was every day stressed out. Like, is the world going to collapse? Are we all going to be attacked by zombies? And then on top of that, I got to run a business,
Yeah.
So those books, they were a godsend for sure. And I was able to, I made more money in the pandemic than I've ever made because of those two books. And it gave me the confidence to like continue to grow the business in the pandemic. I had my employment law lawyer tell me, Abe, you need to pick 10 people and fire them right now
Oh,
for
God.
COVID. She's
Yeah.
like, things are going to get bad. And it was good advice. It was good advice. She said, you're 10 people, you find them and get rid of them. And I was like, all right, everybody's like a family here. It's tough to do that. But I had to make that call because, when your lawyer gives you advice, you jump on it. So I did that. And then, we ended up hiring new people like a few months later because of all the lawsuits we were filing. And yeah, it was pandemic was tough, but those two books came at the most perfect time to help me out.
What are those books called again? Because I'm sure a number
Yeah.
of attorneys probably need to read them. Heck, I'm on to read them.
The 10X Rule Book by Grant Cardone, and Measure What Matters. I forget the guy's name. Measure What Matters. The guy, they call him the coach. He grew and scaled Google, Facebook, Amazon, all those big tech companies, Oracle. He was the guy who said, hey, you need to have KPIs, key performance indicators. Everybody has to have a job, but their job has to be based on a number. So you need to file 500 lawsuits this month. You need to file 300 motions to compel. You need to do XYZ number, and that's your job. And so from reading that book and those concepts, I mean, dude, it was like my mind was just expanded so much. I was like, that's how you run a business. Nobody teaches you how to run a business out of law school. Law school is about the laws. I thought I had a business until I read those books, and I was like, this is genius. Like, we need more of these books. So yeah, they were mind-opening books.